getting the record straight. Now for, what was his name? He's already dropped from speaker. I think it was John something or Dolphin or something. I have forgotten. He was talking about Maraga, and he said, why people are talking about Maraga and hana pesa, like does he expect us to fundraise for him? I would say yes. Yes, as Mali has clearly stated, people, where do you think someone is getting 10 billion shillings to campaign na salary yake ni 1.2 million? If Maraga does not have that 10 billion, it means he did not steal. It means he did not steal. When he was Supreme Court Justice, he used his salary wisely, made his investments, but hata hesabu yake venye anaigonga, hiyo hesabu haikuji vile atapata 10 billion ya campaign. So if he asks us to fundraise, I will be the first one. I will be the first one to send my money there so that he can own his campaign. And lastly, to Miss Olwande, I want to second you on the fact that Kina Rigathi and Matiang'i are not the leaders of choice. That one I agree with. But you have also to understand something. We are the ones who followed the narrative that we are leaderless and partyless. But remember, if 2027 gets here, and RUTO has not, and half term has failed, we'll have to go to the ballot paper. Now, you're not just given one ballot paper. You're given 6. As much as you choose the president that you want, for example, for me, from someone from Nairobi, I get my ballot paper. I will have one for president, which I'll vote for Maraga. But all the other 5, there will be people in parties. I cannot write a name there for the person I want. I have to tick a box. Now, if those parties there, and this is why I think the leaderless and partyless movement was initially an NIS-generated script, is because they want that ballot paper only has system parties. System parties. In other words, you will find hapo uko na DCP, uko na ODM, uko na UDA, uko na Jubilee. Those are the only parties you have to choose. You cannot write any other name there. You have to tick a box. Even if only one person votes, that one person is a majority. Even if 10 people vote and RUTO gets 4, Maraga gets 6, Maraga is now the president, but for all the other positions, watu wameweka UDA. Because Maraga has not fielded a candidate in Molo, he's not fielded a candidate in Garissa, he's not fielded a candidate in Mombasa. What we are basically doing is we are telling Maraga here, take the presidency, but parliament, it is ODM and UDA who will tell you what to do. So at the end of the day, this is where Kina Rigathi Gachagua are getting their air from. Because us, we've decided we don't want to create our own party. As we've decided, we don't want to create our own leader. And then 2028 will be there saying, Wakenya sisi ni wajinga, kwa nini tulipigia chama ya Gachagua? Kwa nini tulipigia chama ya RUTO? Kwa nini tulipigia chama ya Uhuru ama chama ya Raila? Yet, we're not asking ourselves chama yetu ilikuwa gani basi. Tulikuwa tupigie na nini mwingine. So we should always remember, as I wind up, we should always remember that it is the ballot box. If we don't manage half term, let me not destroy our hopes. We can manage half term, yes. But if we don't, and we find ourselves in 2027, it is the names and the parties that are on the ballot box that will be eligible for the ticks or the X's. If the party is not there in that ballot box, be prepared to see leaders that you do not want. And to see Kina Gachagua, even if he doesn't run for president, say he doesn't run for president or he runs for president and loses, but huko Mount Kenya ni ilikuwa choice ya DCP ama UDA, that those were the only parties that fielded candidates there. Of course, it is only those 2 parties. People are going to choose DCP. But if there was another party there, like say Maraga chooses the Green, I saw him walking around with National Green Party, what was it called? If he puts a candidate there with that party, well and good. But it's not just one candidate. We're talking about Mount Kenya having 64 constituencies. Therefore, he has to have 64 candidates. In every constituency, he has a candidate. In every ward, he has a candidate. In Nyanza, let it not just be it is ODM that is there. Let him also have the National Green Party or whichever party he chooses. Let him have a candidate in every ward, in every constituency, in every county, and for every position. Then that way, we can say that Gachagua tunyamazie, wacha kutuongelesha, tuko na watu wetu. But if we remain like this, that we don't have a party and we don't have leaders, my friends, be prepared for tears. Be very, 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 very prepared. And I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm not trying to destroy anybody's passion. But let us now evolve from the leaderless and partyless, and let us now start thinking about a party and a leader. Not a leader, leaders. Talking about 290 members of parliament, for 1,450 MCAs. Those are the positions that are currently there. And 47 governors, 47 senators, 47 women reps. Get a party, get all those candidates in total who are around 2,000 from all the constituencies, counties, and wards, and we can get rid of now the system. We can actually do what you're saying, draining the swamp. That is the only way. I pass the mic.
Thank you, Red Hand. We have 52 minutes before we call it a night here. I see Dr. Moffo today is not in the mood of coming to the mic to talk to us. So, Dr. Moffo, we hope to get to you one day and talk to us. Also, I just want to call upon you that we need your support pale viju kwenye tip ja line yetu. Right now, we are currently at 7,400 trying to raise 20,000 for our studio upkeep. I see we are about 12,600 na kwa space tuko 113. If each and every one of us contributed 100 shillings, that would get us very close. If watu wa kumi watoe 500 tutakuwa tushamaliza. So itakuwa ni very easy. So kama you can go into that tip line, weka 100 bob, weka 200 bob to support us. Tomorrow we are turning 2 years of home run PP. Guys, let us not cross that bridge wakati landlord ako kwa mlango yangu. Olwande. Talk to us, Olwande. Okay, Japonji.
Hey, Pipi, I just wanted to respond to previous speaker. Pipi,
Oh, okay.
so there is a speaker who is saying that we need to change, I don't know, some foreign policy, I don't know what policy. Then I refuse to accept that, because do we really think that RUTO doesn't have what it takes to do the right thing? Because I think as we speak, we have to be very factual because this guy has everything it takes. But the reason why we have these movements is because he refuses to do the right thing or to follow the constitution. You have to differentiate that. How many policies does it need for him or for us to ensure that he can follow the constitution? So we cannot go that route. We cannot keep adding more and more policies, for I don't know, foreign policy to make this country, stable. No, we don't need that. We just need someone who is conscious about the constitution and do what he said he will do. For instance, does it take an economist or a financial expert or an educationist or a professor to actually push someone like Uhuru Kenyatta all the way to ensure that we have accountability for the loans or the debts that were taken? Does it take someone who is Harvard material or all that. I don't think, because basically speaking, this is what we are avoiding. We are avoiding facts here. We are just talking because we want to talk, but we don't have what it takes to convince people.
Pepita,
Some
are
of
you
us
there?
here.
Am I the only one not hearing anything?
I don't know who is that.
Can hear him. I
Need to
think
reconnect it.
So what I'm saying, Luanda, I can hear you. Just let me land. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is this, someone, I think the same guy came here and said that, being leaderless was NIS thing. These are some of the talks that I try to avoid, responding to, that I will not just let it go. What do you mean by being leaderless was NIS? There are things you don't just spit on spaces for the sake of spitting. You just have to be, let us talk facts here, huh? Well, one day I see your hand, unless I can force you to continue if you really, really want to. But let me just learn, okay? So when someone is talking about being a leaderless as an NIS project, I don't get what they mean. We were leaderless for a reason, and we can still be leaderless going to the election. I don't know what part of constitution does this guy don't understand that we can go independently. We don't need a party. We don't need to go to that ballot and start picking all those parties the same. We can go independent and pick our president. And then when all the independents we meet there, then we fight the way forward. We cannot just, cross the bridge before we reach there. We have the plans are there. People are working on them, but you cannot come here and think that people are so naive. They don't know that you can go independent or use a political party. And when they try to avoid political party way, people think people are naive. No one is naive here. Being independent, countries have done it. You can go independent, 250 candidates, all independent. We reach the parliament, we forge the way forward, huh? And that is how we sustain the presidency. So the only issue now is you can talk about is now coming up with one independent candidate for constituency and all that. But that is work in hand. But there is hope, and we cannot just look at things like politicians, old guards. And also the other thing I wanted to say, which contradicts what I've said somehow, is that we cannot reset this country through the ballot. You have to acknowledge that it's next to impossible to reset the system. Because let me ask you here, anyone who is coming to take the speaker, what is it that Ruto needs now that he doesn't have to change this country? What is it that is lacking to give us the report of the ODS debts that we are repaying, that we don't even know where that money went? Unless he's part of that how you call it, that thing, he's part of it, because there is no way he can be sitting there comfortably and not acting on all these, atrocities that are happening in terms of corruption and the money that is being stolen, and saying that he cannot do anything about it. So why is it so easy to overtax the citizens than account for the money that was taken and follow it to the latter? Which one is easy? It's easier. So these are some of the things that we talk about. It doesn't take even a Harvard graduate or of a University of Nairobi graduate to lead this country. You don't need that. We just need someone to follow the constitution and push for prosecution of these people. Look at, as I learned in 1 minute, you look at someone like Morara. You have to give credit where it's due. Morara went around, looked at all the sold projects that were paid. Contractors were paid, and there are mangas in these spaces. Someone was paid 200 million for road construction, for hospital. They didn't do anything, but they took this money. Why is the president not talking about it? We understand the president stopped all those projects, where he used to, to launch every time. It stopped because of Morara. Morara did his part, huh? So you have to give him credit. But who followed up to find out the name of these contractors are there? They were paid 200 million, for example. Why didn't they finish the job? What happened? Why are they not finishing the job and they were paid in advance? These are the things that we are talking about. It doesn't take a lot of all those policies you're talking about. Okay? That's what I wanted to say, TP. Thank you. Back to you.
Luande. Luande, are you there? Luande, kwani uko space ngapi?
Yes,
Talk to us.
unanisikia?
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to say this. I've heard Japonji and I agree that Ruto cannot be sent home through the ballot. I agree. But also we have to agree that Ruto cannot home with mandamanos only. I think the most important aspect we've been ignoring is our constitution, and our constitution gives us a mandate to send leaders who we feel are not working home. So this is it. If you look at the constitution about what it says in terms of presidency, definitely if we send Ruto right now home, we say that Ruto now go home. Another president cannot be put in place, whether we want Maraga, he cannot be put in place if the constitution is not followed. So the constitution must be followed to the letter. But again, we always don't use this constitution to exercise our democratic right. And for example, I gave an example of members of parliament, they can be recalled. We've also not
Your background
exercised.
music is loud. Your background music is loud, Grace. Kindly move to a quieter place.
Okay.
Continue.
So, as I was saying, we've also not been able to look at or brainstorm in terms of constitution what we can do to punish these leaders or to teach them a lesson. And I think I gave an example. I don't think there's a place where Kenyans have used the few members of parliament maybe that are there to also sign signatures against the president. Looking at the judiciary, and that's why I'm saying Ruto is not the only problem that we have. The problem is with the judiciary. We have the problem also with parliament. All the three arms of the government has problems. If we look at now the judiciary, if truly we had a serious judiciary, Ruto could have not been in power right now. If truly we had a working system and an independent judiciary, the parliament that we have right now should have been dissolved long ago, because first of all, it does not even respect the two-third gender rule. So judiciary is also a failed system. You see, in terms of laws and policies, the way somebody was trying to say. So, like, if at all we have to handle this, we have to clean up everywhere, including our judiciary system. We have a constitution here that have never been implemented per se. So, whom do we blame? Again, on that, we blame the parliament. You see, so this is my point. If at all we want to say that now we want to fight this cause, Ruto can be sent home by looking at the constitution and using the policies that are put in place, and also maybe with the mandamanos. But to be honest, mandamanos alone will not work. Somebody also talked about economic sabotage. I think it was Malia Davis. And for me, I think it is the best that we can use. Actually, those are the tools even the American use. So they can decide if at all we are going to decide on this, we are going to decide that businesses, parastatals belonging to the government, nobody is buying from them or nobody is paying tax towards that area. Because you see, I always wonder why people will accept to pay taxes and pay to buy bullets to kill them. You see, I think that is a very serious question that people should be asking themselves. So if at all we even decide that even private sector that is working with the government, you boycott. If we say we boycott Safaricom, I think this something that worked for Raila Odinga in 2017. We decided to boycott Safaricom, and most people boycotted Safaricom to an extent. Safaricom itself came and said, we have to have a talk because our sales are reducing day by day. I think if you can remember correctly, there was something like that. So economic sabotage can also help. It's only that people are not united, as they say. People are just saying here, we are united, we are united. But the fact is, we are not united. If at all we were united, nobody would be listening to Gachagua. Nobody would even be giving Gachagua an ear. In fact, even if the local media stations give Gachagua an ear, I see Gachagua goes live on TikTok, and if you look at that live has millions of people watching Gachagua. So you cannot call that unity, and you cannot say that honestly we are running for a good cause. If you see people who are connected and aligned to Raila Odinga, anytime Raila speak, they are there full swing. They want to listen, and the moment you want to listen to such kind of leaders, honestly, they will manipulate you. Same to Kalonzo. People will still listen. If these politicians tell you that you should be having a kingpin, they go to your churches, and churches actually give them that platform. Because I even saw a video where somebody, an MP was categorically, an MP from Kalenjin community, was openly saying the way Kalonzo Musyoka, you campers consider to be in the next government, talk to your son Kalonzo Musyoka. You see, if we have those kind of politics, I don't think we are going independent, where each and every person actually, I'm not bragging, but for me, I believe I always work independently. And ever since I started voting, that it was in 2013, I don't think there's any time I have voted depending on psychophancy. So I know from next year, these politicians will come with 6 piece, and you will listen, you will vote 6 piece. They will come here, choose so and so. You will choose that person because your kingpin has said. So as much as we want to say that there is unity, there is no unity. And if you want to know, actually I can even read you some comments. I think I have some comments here on TikTok, and I can read them aloud. And you can actually say that people are not united in this cause. The people who are united sincerely for this cause, I can say they're just a handful of people. Others are sunk into tribalism. And the moment we are sunk into tribalism, we fail to reason correctly, including those who have gone to school up to PhD level. Sometimes when you listen to them speak, you wonder if they truly went to school. So these are the real issues I was talking about that we should be able to address. And we should be able to repeat to each and every person, so that each and every person can understand that actually this is the main problem that is eating up this country. So I think we've not done enough in terms of exercising our rights, and in terms of looking into the constitution and looking at the clauses that favors us. If at all you are a fan of movies, or you are a fan of reading books, and you read some of these ancient books when it comes to leadership, if they could not use thorax to remove someone, they will use laws to remove someone from power. These are things that have happened even before. So these are the things that we are not really exercising. I saw a hashtag bye bye Pasaris. Within 2 days, it is lost, and it is lost up to now. So even in terms of people who are saying let's connect, this is someone who can sponsor a bill to restrict people from demonstrating their democratic right, then you want to depend at court hatakubali. Court haitakubali aje na hiyo court yenyewe iko corrupted. So it is you now to stop this thing from even being read in parliament. And how can you do that? Through your democratic right, by calling on such kind of people like Pasaris. And she was so worried about it. She went and paid Hot 96 FM to spit rubbish and to tell us how our women are not using family planning. And that is why there is a population. If you look at Nigeria, there are 200 million people. Kenya have only 50 million Kenyans. And you cannot sustain 50 million with the kind of land that we have. An MP want to grab like 1,000 hectares of land, or up to 6,000 acres of land. Then that MP want to ask herself or himself that why are people crying? Why are there no jobs? You've grabbed literally everything. How do you expect other people to survive? So I think those are the issues Kenyans should be looking into before even talking and saying that we want so and so. Whoever is the president, I always see people saying Maraga is weak. Maraga is not weak. If Maraga was able to stop or to nullify an election, do you know the amount of pressure that man went through that time? Do you know the kind of threat maybe he might have gone through that time? Then you tell me at Matiang'i in fact is the best. Why do you want to recycle a system? Actually Peter, hizo ndo swali huwa najiuliza na huwa nasema actually nilikuwa nimefika pale nimesema let me focus on my life and leave these things hizi vitu za politics because people don't make any sense. Honestly, if you want to speak to me about Matiang'i, if I remember correctly how Matiang'i alipewa tu docketry ya interior, the thorax that he used, the courts, he defied court orders so many times when they were transporting Miguna to whichever country. They even abducted him incommunicado. Then that is the person now you want to say at yo akwanda Jubilee, sasa sisi tunapel at yo ndo opposition. Then you sit down and ask yourself, look at even Kalonzo Musyoka, look at his history. Mjamaa wa kupitia katikati, we know him. People like Martha Karua. Actually, Martha Karua, when I saw 2007 election, I think I was young. Actually, nilikuwa mdogo sana. But I would feel as a child that this woman does not love her country. Those are the people now stand here that they are fighting. Which rights? And people are clapping. Actually, we cannot ignore those things. As much as I see even comments here, people are saying, oh, we should be ignoring those things, those leaders. We cannot ignore such things. Because those leaders have also influence. There are people who are following those leaders. And if you cannot pump the truth into those people, then there is nothing we are doing. If you cannot pump to people who are supporting Raila Odinga that, no, look at this thing this way. Raila Odinga has been in this position. He has, for the longest time, joined the government. But honestly, he's telling us right now, he's doing some development because he joined RUTO. He has been joining other governments. Why has he not been doing this development he's claiming to be talking about right now? Those are the questions that people should be asking these leaders. We cannot assume that we should not talk about Gachagua, Tio Gachagua huko. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Because for the moment, I myself am telling you, Peter, I'm finishing. The truth is, anybody aligned to Gachagua, I cannot vote for that person. Because the truth is, Gachagua will be in the government indirectly. I cannot waste my vote. So I think those are the real issues people should be looking into. Thank you, Pepita.
All right, thank you. It's 8:30 p.m. East African time, ladies and gentlemen. Mine is to remind you to support the show. Let's go to Wangeshi.
Hi, sorry, I forgot I was Wangeshi. That's my Kikuyu name. So I would like to to echo some of the words some of the speakers have talked about. One is we can never be able to remove RUTO through the ballot. That is one thing that is for sure. One, remember this man was an underdog wakati wa last election. He did not have the deep state on his side, and he still became the president. It would be even a shame to him to lose this election when he won an election against all odds. Remember hata pesa ilichangiwa. You remember they even changed the 1,000 note because there was this thing that he had money in his house which he was giving churches and bribing voters and everything, and the government went ahead and changed the money. But bado pesa ya huyo msee haikuisha, he still won that election. It would be even weird for him now to even lose an election kama aliweza, yani alikula ng'ombe nzima ashindwe na mkia. So he is going to do anything, because he only compromised one person at IBC. Let's say only one person, because Chebukati was the person. The other people are what they could not do anything. So I don't know what level of bribery he did to Chebukati. Chebukati has died. We will never know. And he did not talk like Kivuitu before he died and said anything. He never said anything. We don't know why he died so early without telling us what he was supposed to tell us. So this is a guy who, hata kama ni mimi, hata mimi nilishinda election kwa those hard situation, alafu nikuje tu kushindwa and I have all the instruments of power with me. It cannot happen. This guy is not going anywhere. We are waiting to throw him out through the elections. It is not going to happen because it is impossible. And there are also other indicators that this guy is not ready to go. When someone starts to build something permanent in a temporary place, it means he's not going anywhere. Ameanza kujenga church and he has defended that church. That is costing a lot of money in a place where he is not supposed to be there for the rest of his life. So who is that stupid person who goes, chucks all his money, and it's not small money, to build something he knows he's going to leave?
$1 billion shillings.
$1 billion, yes. I don't think hata we ukifikiria we mwenyewe tuseme uko kwa nyumba ya landlord and you start putting gypsum in that house, you start changing structure, kwanza unaanza kuongeza rooms zingine, you start doing like that. Are you really willing to leave that house? Hata landlord will start getting worried. Kaanza kushindwa, unaweka gypsum, unataka ukitoka hapa uniambie nikulipe gypsum yako ama nini? Una change tiles, you even change the doors, unaweka nini, unaweka alarm system, unaweka vitu permanent fixtures in that house where you cannot live with. That automatically tells you this person is not willing to leave. That is one thing. Then another thing we need to know, RUTO in his own personality as a person. RUTO has never worked a day in his life in the normal working sector. He's never been in a corporate, apate pressure ya corporate where you need to be accountable and you need to show where money is going and show why the company is not making losses or and profit and all that. The guy has been a politician from university campus. This guy was a politician. He was inducted in politics by Moi. He was a student leader. He was a CU leader. And he used that from akitoka university aliingia politics na Jirongo straight away in 92 with a lot of money. So this guy has never been in a place where he's exposed like now. Because a president is like a governor, you have to govern the country. So incompetence, you can only see incompetence when someone is put somewhere open. When he was a politician, maybe a minister or something, he could play politics inside there and then we couldn't see. But some of us, we saw his incompetence long time ago, So we have never supported this man. since post-election violence, because this guy, during post-election talks, him and Mother Karua, and someone has talked about the previous politicians here, him and Mother Karua had to be thrown out of Serena because they took very hard stands when the country was bleeding. They took very hard. That is the first time I say that is one of the things Mother Karua did, which I will never forgive her. She has done so good things, but that one, her and Ruto took very hard stands. Ruto supporting Raila and Karua supporting Kibaki. If these people continue to stay here, these discussions will not go on. Because for Karua was like the loser takes it all, the winner takes zero. It was a zero-sum game for both of them. Secondly, we have to know when we tell Ruto to respect the constitution, he cannot respect a constitution he never voted for. The people who never voted for this constitution, one of them was Ruto. He was agitating against the land reforms and devolution. That guy did not support devolution. He did not support land reforms and many other things in the constitution. Because if you say you don't want the constitution or you are drumming against it, what are you telling us? So when you expect him now to respect the constitution, I think we are just forgetting. The guy is deputy president, is a professor of law. Who should be advising him? Uyo Mukomen is a professor of law. Who should be advising him? You know, they have not. Because why? That guy cannot be advised by anyone. So they have to sing his tune. Whether you are a lawyer or you are a professor of law, you forget, you start behaving like a psychopath. That is what is happening in this country. So Ruto cannot be advised by anyone, not even an expert. He is the expert and he will advise you how to advise him. So this is not a person who will, because he had a whole year from last year. You saw what happened. He had a whole year to change his ways. What did he do? He went and bought Raila, thinking that Mandamano will stop. Now I think he's having a bias remorse because you cannot get someone ndio akusaidie kustopisha maandamano but inachacha. You know. So, and because he's too proud, na kona ego size sijui ya nini, is not going to tone down. Because we've seen, every time we think he's going to tone down and say something just to bring, you know, he just does something to annoy people. Kwanza leo, amesema watu wote, you know, he's like, you shoot people on the legs. Then I'm like, your vice president did not tell you the implication of what you're saying before you went and said it. You know, he has lawyers around him. They did not even see fit to tell the president what you are saying is wrong. Nothing. Then there is the issue of what can we do? You know, me I'm saying Kenyans, kama kutoa pasari imetushinda, Ruto kweli tutatoa? Pasari ule mwenye ni low hanging fruit, mwenye tunaweza mtoa tu haraka hivi, hatutaki kumtoa. Kenyans, if we are serious, we should start with pasari. We should start with pasari. Tumalizane na huyo mama kwanza, we communicate something. Because one, tukitoa pasari hawa watu wengine hawa wenye wanasupportingi Ruto wataingiwa na woga, because you don't know the next if it will be you by saying something stupid. But Pasari is there. She was scared. Someone said, yeah, she was really scared. She thought it's gonna happen. Then what happened? Because tulisema after maandamano Tuesday ni kutoa pasari. Leo ni lini? Because we have been asking where I thought we are doing this thing. Kwani tunaachia huyu mama hiyo ujinga yote yenye alikuwa anafanya. So if we cannot deal with the small rats here, how are we going to deal with this squirrel we have on top? Let me call him a squirrel. So let us be serious, people. Because hata nakumbuka jana, we were on a space. Then we said, please people, can we just change our pictures? If you support this movement, just change this picture. Hii picha inakaa ya driving school hii. Just change it. to communicate something digitally, because not all of us we can go to the street. And also you saw the way they are doing, sasa wanajifungia kama kuku, we cannot go anywhere, you know, and then sasa wanaanza kufuata watu kwa manyumba zao. So like we can still do digital activism, put this picture here and comment kwa nini za Kasongo, we comment with this picture, we every time he says something we put this picture there as a comment. Hivyo ana akipost tu kitu tunajaza hapo na comment ya hiki kisura hiki. But kwa hiyo space, that space was like 4 hours. I think KOT Songo or Afrocentric was the one running it. People refused to put this picture until wakaambiwa, okay, if you are a supporter of Kasongo, we would understand you. Or if you are Afande, we would understand you. But that space had almost 10,000 people. You want to say all those people were police and others were, because the people who put that was like 100 and something people are the ones who changed. So if a small thing like that, you know, ile tu, it doesn't cost you anything kuweka hii picha, you know, ya kuonyesha you don't want Kasongo, hauwezi weka. Tutatoaje pasari na tutoe Ruto? Thank you.
Okay, asante sana Makizela. Okay, asante sana Makizela for your submission. Dolphin, your hand was raised up first, and I see Ebucheki is here with us, and then we can go to Mwabili Mwagodi. Dolphin. Can you hear me, Dolphin?
Hey, pipi, kuna kitu nimekutumia DM, nataka tu.
Oh, yeah, nimepata.
Just check it. So there is a whole institution, that is a whole institution that is being funded by government money. And you can see what they deal. You umesoma chenye ina deal nayo. So it advises the government the future plans and the vision for the country. So the moment that public policy document, it's a written document that has even not hata tukikuchagua leo kuwa president na ujui kitu, things will be up and running. Kuna watu wenye wanafanya kazi, so thinking that you know people like massaging their egos that this and that, this and that, this and that. The strategy is not going to the streets and singing Kasongo must go each and every time. You have to have a solid thing that you stand for. You have to make something work. Going to remove a president, a sitting president for that matter, needs a real sacrifice. Hiyo kitu inahitaji pesa. It needs a real plan. Who is going to back you? Who is going to back you? What is going to happen to the economy next? Si ati ni kitu unaamka kwa kabetsita kako, unaenda kwa barabara, mnapigana mawe, unakula tear gas na unaenda nyumbani. Tomorrow unaamka siji. So it needs a plan generally. The second thing, the interference of the foreign powers also plays part in this. Mwezi amka tu na kwenda, you have to start first. This guy ana deal na hii na hii na hii na hii, then we can do away with that, so that when you remain with one thing to concentrate on, the plans can go through. Lakini ujinga ya kuja kupigwa sama solapa na watu wawili watu watatu while they are being paid to run that agenda. They will tell you what you want to listen to. At the end of the day, watu wameshika pesa zao, watu wameishia. I'm not saying that the movement is bad or it's something, but you have to think, you have will happen tomorrow. No one needs bad governance tukiwa na kila kitu, but it has to be done in such a way that people do not lose their lives. It has to be done in such a way that kila mtu atafanya nini? Ataridhika. I'm not into business of people going to the streets getting shot and watu wanaendelea na maisha yao. This business of people going to loot some other people's business, burning their own police stations, showing that you are against the government. No, that is wrong. You're going to steal from someone's shop. That is wrong. Settling your scores through politics, also that is wrong. And as Kenyans, mahali penye watu wamefikia, I don't think the achievement of this movement is going to be met because of what? Those kind of things. You know, you are creating a lot of enemies for no reason. But if you guys have to struggle, naona mwavili mwagodi hapa hapa, wacha waendeleza movement mahali penye yake itafikia, ndio sasa the technocrats wataanzia hapo na kuchukua kule mbele, because this is shambolic and chaotic at the same time, and people are massaging their egos and feelings. Hawataki kuambiwa ukweli, because going to remove that guy si ati utaenda pale na ama pipi. Do you have enough money to fund that kind of a thing? Hata wakenya wakiambiwa leo changini hawatachanga.
Si ndio ninachanga 20,000 imeshindwa kujaa, ndugu yangu. Sasa unaniambia nini wewe? Wewe nichokoze tu Dolphin. Naona vile unaendelea kunichokoza. Anyway, we are currently at 7,400 pale hivi kwenye fundraiser yetu ya Home Run in PP maintenance kiti. Sijui kama Dolphin amemaliza, but I would like to hear from Ebu Cheki and also the one and only TL Elder. Dolphin, umeland?
Yeah. So, mnanisikia?
Yes.
Mnanisikia? Okay.
Tunakusikia.
So nitaanza na the guy that has just spoken, Dolphin. Huyu mtu ako onto hii money funding. Hii inakaa agenda, imekuwa agenda bila pesa. Okay, tunaweza crowdsource, but that's a story for another day. Hii movement amesema movement hatuwezi endeleza ati Kasongo must go, but Kasongo must go. Everybody has their way, has a purpose venye wata fight this fight, na demos ni one of ndo zinafanya hii space tuongee vitu tunaongea. Demos ndio inafanya the very many GenZs who did not vote in 2022 wa vote 2027. So hatuwezi place ati demos tuseme hazikufanya kazi. Demos tukilala saizi, demos zitalala pia. Wacha niseme pia amesema ati watu wanaenda kuloot ati to make a statement. Let me tell you, demos ndo zimetufikisha hapa mahali. Goons wanahayariwa na hiyo pesa. Unashinda ukisema ati hakuna pesa, ati somebody needs that money. Watu wenye wako hiyo looting inaendelea ni juu watu wamemwaga pesa. Kama mnataka kuona pesa ikifanya kazi, ndio hiyo pesa inafanya kazi. Watu wamelipwa. We've seen goons and cops pamoja. So huwezi sema movement ndio inavunja supermarkets. Saa hizi inabidi imekuwa economic standstill. But I'm not saying that demos is the only thing that will work. There's so many things that will work. Okay, let me go and just I don't like dwelling on the past, but nitasema kitu. Kuna mtu hapa amesema RUTO was no underdog. I have a few people listening to me right now. I want to tell you actually RUTO was a bigger dog than Uhuru when Uhuru was president. Ruto had his own movement. Mnakumbuka vitu za sijui tangatanga kieleweke. Ruto actually took over Mount Kenya in 2018. Venye aliamua kuumea pembe akajifanya Raila ndo his own stand, but he was planning for 2022. So ambia mjue this guy is a strategist. At least ameshindwa lead. At least all of us are angry with him. At least we can see it. We can see the devil he is. So Ruto was no underdog. Ruto ni manipulation. He's the first political conman. Alafu Raila comes second. I hope we don't get emotional about that. So what else will I talk about? I'll talk about the leader movement. Yes, tulianza is the best that we have. So kama unaona mtu anaweza ondoa hii status quo yenye wazazi wetu wameishi nayo, the older generation wameishi nayo, tell somebody that we need a government that works. Tutaenda pia kwa political party can also work. It's not only one political party. We can have coalitions, but coalitions of political parties zenye at least tunajua ziko. Imagine you're pushing in central Kenya, you're pushing the same party in Nyanza, Rift Valley, an underdog party, but it's party for the youth and party for a party for change. That's what liberation will be. Lakini tukimes kidogo tupe hawa kanu orphans just that loophole. Hii revolution nawaambia itaturudisha nyuma, tutarudi ground zero. So we be careful. Venye kumekuwa na the same talk at least we should start with the representatives we elect. So representative mwenye unaweka, weka representative mwenye hayuko pro that politician mwenye ako from a table. So hii history ya kingpins, there's nothing like a kingpin. So mtu mwenye ni kingpin kwenu, mwenye mume brainwashiwa kufikiria ni kingpin, that's just a narrative. It's somebody mwenye at least he can feed your elected representative, your corrupt leader bila
Naona TL Elder ako hapa hivi. Mwabili Mwagodi, how are you doing? And also thank you Stella for getting us. Mwabili, TL Elder. Okay. Mwabili.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
I think I've been having a challenge with my internet. I've been dropping out, dropping in. I have no idea why. I've stayed here for the past 30 minutes, for 12 minutes, but nimekuwa na challenge na internet. But I've been hearing people speak, even though it was dropping me out. I have an S25 Ultra, so ina balance out mambo za internet. So people wanaendelea kuongea, mimi narudi naingia, things like that. I'm just saying this. I hope Olwande is still here. Wangeshi Mwadime, I'm assuming, is my sister-in-law. She's married to a Taita man. Dolphin, I am going to respond to you. I've written notes, actually, Pipita. And Olwande has talked about, Grace Olwande has spoken something to do with Maraga. And I want to have a candid conversation with you, Pipita, because unajua mimi nikiingia kwa space yako, I am very honest. Well, but then it's a journey. You've been growing and editorial control over it. Sio kama akina nani Churchill na Maina Kageni watakuja watuambia asubuhi, oh, we are not allowed to speak about politics or this and that, so they end up talking about housemaid drama and things like that. So once again, even before I say anything, congratulations, Pepita, for this platform which you have built over time. You have serious people who come to this place and they speak serious things. Olwande, with regards to Maraga, so I am the one who began the conversation about his seriousness for the presidency. I never said former Chief Justice Maraga is weak. What I said, he was uninspiring. And the reason why I said Maraga is uninspiring is because I saw him on that NTV interview. It was the first time I saw Maraga speak in public, because I have been avoiding. I've been avoiding seeing Okiya Omtata talk. I have avoided seeing any comment on Matiang'i. Sawa, because I still believe that it is extremely early for Kenyan politics. We will decide who is the presidential candidate, flag bearer against RUTO by December 2026. So, but according to me, and that is why I say, and I keep saying, I still insist, Maraga is still have the people behind them, Grace. So,
financial muscle to do what you are telling him to do. Why? Because he never stole.
I am
The
not
reason
now you need to go to those people that Ruto calls mamambogas and boda bodas. what I mean. I don't really care about money. It is not campaigns are not about money.
I think
They are just about that. That person, I don't want to even mention his name, who does not interactive. Pipi nimeandika notes. I have 4 points. Zenye nimeandika 4. Dolphin. Because all of us have seen women from the streets. So Dolphin, Quickmart and shops and this is how I talk every day. Ask Peter. Leadership of what?
hata leo anaongea vizuri, amepoa kabisa.
why do you want to remove a president?
Check government, no more nani. The problem was that, so what they began doing, they began consolidating power behind family members, including my own mother, who was campaigning, put this man in office. And the first victim of the RUTO government was me. He said he's going to go after the dynasty through KRA, watu ambao wamekataa kulipa ushuru. Sawa, but mimi running an SME in Kericho and Bomet counties, a small medium enterprise in Kericho and Bomet, I was the first victim of the RUTO government through KRA. In January 2023, I was slapped with that 9 million Kenyan shilling assessment, it's called a pre-assessment. And then immediately after that, NSSF hike the rates 4 times, 5 times. Immediately after that, housing levy. Immediately after that, NHIF. Blah, 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 blah. Now, usimtapeli sitapeli Dolphin. Is this a con man? It's not a con man. Today, he ended up telling people that, look, I promised you jobs, but it's all like I am the first president who inherited this country when people didn't have jobs. This is a con man. I am against him 100% in my bones, in my blood, in my flesh, in my soul. If it means that I have to die for RUTO to leave power, I am willing to die. I am ready to die. I am going to die, Dolphin.
You are being emotional.
Emotional.
The only
I'm not
thing
being
that
emotional.
you
Died.
He hit himself against the walls of the police station.
Where?
In
Of the
Central
police
Police
station.
Station.
He took himself to the police station. Where did he come from in Central Police?
He was taken there.
From where?
From Homa Bay.
Okay. What's your point,
From his
Peter?
mother's.
What's your point now here?
From his mother's home,
Point.
just before he had lunch. He was taken from his mother's home, his own mother's home, driven 400 kilometers to Nairobi to be murdered in Nairobi. So you think dying under RUTO is when he says that he tells his police today, you can shoot these people. And this man swore to protect Kenyan lives before 2022 when those 2 Indians were killed. Pipita kweli mimi ndio mwenda wazimu hapa kwa hii space. You must protect me, Pipita. You must protect your speaker.
Nataka kusema tunakufinyilia. Hebu hata tupate the new speakers. let us get the new speakers speaking to us. Let's hear from Japonji, and then I'll go to ladies and gentlemen, hivyo tujikaze to keep it around time. Kumbuka kwamba kesho Home Run with PP is turning 2 years old, so remember that. Japonji. Karoma, are you there?
Yes, Peter. Yes, I'm here. I hope you can see me. I'm having challenges with my internet kidogo.
Yes, I can. Talk to us.
Can you hear me? So,
Loud and
actually, I want to chip in on a question that has been directed to TLL right now. That question that why do you want to remove RUTO? We are not mature politically. If you or somebody you know is really excited to hear that the person leading the country is from his tribe, from his region, or from his area, and you feel exhilarated and you feel compelled that you have to agree with them, even when they are wrong, you feel like you should protect them because they come from where you come from, just know you're politically immature. This movement, the people who are aggravating for good governance and change are youths. Basically, they are children. But the difference between the movement and the older generations, in as much as they're older than us, is political maturity. They are not mature, but they are older than us. We are politically mature, but we are young. Remain politically immature in as much as they are coming from your tribe and agree with another leader who comes from a different tribe, a different region, a different area from you, because that is the difference. That is where the setback in this aggravation for good governance is getting us by the balls, political immaturity. So thank you, I land.
Asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently at 7,800 on our Tipja line pale hivi kwenye our end of month crowdfunding kitty. So if you like what you're doing, you can always go into that kitty. And we say that as we're going into this extra hour, we always make sure we raise at least 1,000 shillings. Kwa hivyo 100 bob, 200 pale mpaka tufike 1,000 bob so that you can go overboard. Now I see a person called we are all Kikuyu. Wahiti. How are you doing, Wahiti?
Hello, yeah. Thank you for
Karibu.
I'm fine, thank you. Asante. Mimi nataka kuuliza tu swali moja tu nikienda. Which effect inaweza leta tuki unfollow RUTO like massively akuwe na 0 followers. Haiwezi hata leta hata kachange hata kamoja hivyo. Just that. Thank you.
RUTO has bots. Kuna bots zinamfollow. So every time you remove yourself, they had a bot to follow him. So hata kama sahi to unfollow, we have unfollowed some of us. Others have blocked him. utapata bado iko 6.8. Then you go and look at the followers, unapata wengine ni Wahindi, wengine wana majina hata hatujaisikia, wengine hata wako na 1 follower. Those are bots, na hiyo ni kazi ya Itumbi.
Also,
Okay.
if I may add also, Angeshi, look, any form of protest, whether you want to unfollow Ruto, whether you want to block him, any form of protest is welcome. Sawa, when you wake up, kuna hii story ambayo pipi musikia wase wanasemanga wao sijui ni small wigs, ati hawana sijui nini. Bro, wewe ukiamka asubuhi and you decide you want to tweet Ruto must go, tweet Ruto must go. Sawa, based on the sawa, if you want to wake up in the morning na utengeze t-shirt imesema Ruto must go or Kasongo must die or Ruto must die, hang him at 12 p.m. in Uhuru Park, high noon. Sawa, any form of protest, one person, you only need one person to see it. You don't need 1,000 people, you don't need 1 million people, you don't need 50 million Kenyans. You just need one person to see it. So whatever it is you are protesting against Ruto, it will be seen.
Wow, that's cool. What about Esther? Tumtoe basi kama inawezekana, as little as we are. What can we do about that as a beginning? Tutoe moja tu, wengine waone yenyewe kweli it can happen. There's somebody who has spoken about that one.
Hi,
Hello?
thank you. We cannot have a back and forth. We don't have the time for it, Wahiti. But we will get back when we can get the time for a back and forth. We'll call you up. Anunnaki.
Okay.
Yes. Anunnaki. Hi. Anunnaki, are you there?
Thank you, Pepita. Good to be here in this conversation and listen to virtually everybody. I also have your Pepita back. But importantly is, I think at this moment you realize, the unfolding events, they are absolutely tiring. But I also take a moment to, say we are people who are divided along certain lines. And schools of thoughts. It is good. We usually have some kind of decorum. I don't know what's happening today. But importantly, Pipita, we are here. It is necessary that we amount the level and the intensity of pressure. You guys remember, I've reiterated this. What stands in as the William Ruto. It is actually the constitution allow the political elites to have a field day for violation of the constitution. The constitution as stands, in my opinion, it is suspended. And when you talk about the anarchists, you talk about the criminals. Number one is Mr. William Ruto himself. Peter, you cannot have goons, criminals that are protected and accompanied by police officers to wreak havoc on Kenyans. And third, unarrested, unstopped. Then you tell us that you have intentions of arresting or killing criminals, the financials of the same, the culprit number one, complicity. It stops with Mr. William Ruto himself, and on the basis of criminality and violation of the Constitution, Mr. William Ruto becomes criminal number one. And that's why I say the urgency to have him out. Some of us who believe their pragmatic way of having him get out of power. And we must be prepared for this, because the decision to be successful has got to be advertent, Pepita. I've said this before. It is not essentially when you say certain things, but also what actions you take. And Pepita, if it might come too hard to keep records of what has been spoken today, one person I want to listen again speak, or rather the points that have been discussed here, that I would love to have them reiterated and emphasized.
Yeah, I have something to say.
Yeah, but don't add this guy on the mic. Okay, continue. Don't add him, Japwanje. Continue, Doctor.
It is exactly what Red Hand has said. You need to listen to what Red Hand has said. Because the leadership of any government, it does not end with the presidency exclusively. And it is a team of legislature, the people he agrees on in terms of policies and in terms of how he runs government. It's got to be agreeable. And therefore, we must be willing to tell these people who we are backing for the positions they are ahead, to be prepared in all ways, including having their people in the grassroots. All elective positions, they must show there has to be way in which they consolidate power by having a majority. Otherwise, you cannot tell us that we can have Mr. Maraga run for presidency, whether on whichever party or as an independent. Then you tell us that all the members of parliament or whichever legislation positions will take positions as independent will be seemed to be working with Maraga. That is what I want to tell you guys is be prepared, be strategist, and be part of the decision. Otherwise, draining the swamp is not as easy as you guys think. But I have emphasized the urgency to have Mr. William Ruto and his autocratic regime out of power. So what am I talking about? People are telling us you can only be able to make these decisions by the end of next year. Okay, so what are you telling us then? So what I'm saying is, whether you like it or not, some of us are able to analyze. It is not essentially because of our singular votes, but because we know how politics are played. A political concession, it is inevitably required at some point level, at some level. But positions of policy decisions and influence, they have got to be filled by you. Stock of low-hanging fruits you guys are talking about. The low-hanging fruits is you and me take to be members of parliament and fill our candidature, MCA and all the others, so that we change this country. Remember, if the parliament was working, if the independence of the parliament had not been interfered with the executive, trust me, Mr. William Ruto, there's no way he would be the president. But because we are willing and ready to change the narrative and the way we run politics in this country, at some point, we need to start somewhere. Pipita. It is not when we say that Maraga and some other unknown names take all positions of power. It will not happen. Peter, you have told us, much has been said, that the Gen Z are the majority, the young people are the majority of voters. No one disputes that. But follow most of these political elites, where they go, political class, where they go. Some of these people, majority of these people, they have not been paying them, right? The government, they've not been paying followers. We know that, we can attest that. So tell me who are majority of the attendants in those meetings. Are they old or are they young? Are they confused or are they genuine followers? Those are the people going to make votes in 2027. If the vote is coming in 2027. If at all it's coming, because we've been told by these people, again, there are no elections. The contingency of advisors to Mr. William Ruto, including the one who apparently resigned, I don't buy that, has told us that elections will happen in 2027. These are the people who have currently, as we're speaking, have seized the administrative privilege of the DBMS server for the IEBC running the show, led by one David Kirchner. We know these facts. I've told them, these people, give us an account of the IT staff who worked for the IEBC by the time Mr. William Ruto was coming to power. Give us a full account of all of them. Most of the people, especially the influential one, they've been taken out. They've been taken out to allow Mr. William Ruto to seize the server, to seize your data. These are the people who are going to decide who votes and how they vote. You guys must be in a position to decipher the egregious political machination that's playing around in this country. And as it stands, unless we use a lot of force, including lawlessness, if it is necessary, because you'll not be the first person to do it. Mr. William Ruto has already exhibited all features and characteristics of unlawlessness in this country. And therefore, Peter, what I want to say is, let's be decisive. Let's take this our country back, because we are the people. Kenya will not be salvaged by aliens. It is me and you. Have we changed our morality? Have we changed the way we look at things? The answer is no. And therefore, when we say Mr. William Ruto has to go as a matter of urgency, yes, but who takes over? One of us. How do we get there? Political concession. What happens when you don't have political concession? You divide off the votes, and this guy comes through in a different route. It is not possible that we can be able to withstand continuity and perpetuity of this regime. Not one day. It is too late, Pipita. Too late. And we are bitter. Pipita, sometimes also go to listen. I mean, let me not go there. Let me just say I have listened to both of you. I would want to listen to Red Hand again. If he's raising his hand to clarify for whoever didn't understand, I'll give him another chance. Thank you, Pipita.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mofo. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Home Run APP. It's about 9:30 East African time. The conversation keeps going. Social conversations goes on here on Home Run APP. This is our last show before we turn 2 years tomorrow. You can imagine how excited I am. But Home Run APP will be turning 2 years old tomorrow. Yeah, so kindly don't miss our very historic, wacha niseme venye wanaongeleanga ile stadium ya Kamarin. Very historic show will be happening tomorrow, of course, to celebrate that. But the conversation about liberation of our country, we have a lot of teachers. So the problem is, are we ready to learn and move from our mistakes? We have a couple of new speakers. I'm going to stop admitting new speakers for now. I want us to finish these ones and maybe call it a night. So Red Hand, I'm going to give you a chance to talk to us. Then I will ask Forrester and Paul Malia to talk to us as well. And Anunnaki. Red Hand.
All right. After this, I'll just drop the mic so that the others can be able to speak. First, I want to I want to concur with Dr. I had a lot of things to say, but Dr. Mofo has said them. So thank you, Dr. Mofo, for articulating my points exactly. For all that you have said, by the way, and you're very articulate. You should speak more on these spaces. Secondly, I want to address Wangeshi when she was talking about recalling Esther Passaris. I want to say that while it's a noble cause, you have to, assuming that the IBC was already constituted, the point of recalling Esther Passaris as Nairobi Women Rep is to remove a vote or a voice for William Ruto there and replace it with a voice and a vote for you. So it makes no sense recalling Esther Passaris if you don't have an agreed woman representative that we are all going to vote for to come in. And let's say today, out of the blue, Esther Passaris decided to resign. If we were even to take a poll, I'm sure there are many people here who don't even know. They've not even thought about who they will vote for Nairobi Women Rep. That is why we are talking about this leaderless thing is not really making sense, because if William Ruto was to, I know this would be treason, so I won't use the name. Let's say if he was to disappear. I can't use the name the word I want to use because it would be treason. But if you were to disappear, and even Kindiki, and elections were held today, or tomorrow, or in 3 months, are people in agreement of who they are going to put in? Even in your MP position.
Sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you, Red Hand. But Kenya is a free country. We have a constitution. Okay, we are not living in 1980s, 1990s Kenya or 2000s Kenya, whereby saying something negative, bad about the president will get you locked up. So if you want to say Ruto has to be hanged, it is free speech. So don't restrict yourself. Do not feel restrained by words. So Ruto has to die. Sawa, I mean it. He has to die for Kenya to be free. Sawa, how he dies, sawa, whether someone is going to volunteer themselves, including myself, to kill him. Sawa, it is free speech.
Already uko na 7,800 ya kulipa wakili. Uko already na 7,800 ya kulipa wakili wakakuja na Subaru. Mimi nimetoka kulipa rent leo.
Huu ni Mwabili hana 7,800. Huyo ni Pipita ndio tajiri hapa kwa hizo. No, but no, I am saying, sir, I am saying, even Diangui, this guy who was abducted the other day, he made a poster and then 2 p.m. the program said hanging of Ruto. So it is free speech. So, and we have every reason to hang Ruto. It is a fact. So do not be afraid to say it. No one is going, even if they come for you, the best thing they can do to you is murder you. And what is death in Kenya and Ruto? It is a celebration. To myself personally. Endelea.
Okay. So yes, if the stand by Mwabili was to happen, and it was to happen to also other members of parliament, and in 3 months we had a general election for MPs. Let's say in 3 months' time from today we have a general election for MPs. Are people even in agreement? Do people even know who they're going to vote for governor? This is why the leaderless thing, I think, even though I know Japonji was not very happy with what I said earlier about the leaderless movement, so I won't go there. But if we've already overused the leaderless tag, and elections are to be held in 3 months, are people even if we were to elect independent candidates, are people even in agreement about that independent candidate that you're going to vote for? Because if Japonji and his people want to vote for candidate A, who is independent, and me and my people want to vote for candidate B, who is independent, but ODM has a candidate, and they have more members, and me and Japonji choosing different independent candidates splits the vote, the ODM guy walks in. So that's why I'm saying we need to be very strategic about the things we are saying, because you can be idealistic, which is allowed, but you also need to be practical. What exactly can you really do with the idea that you have in mind? Is it only good on paper? Can we use it in the streets? Can we use it on the ballot? And lastly, there was a speaker, and a lot of speakers have used this term to, huyu anaage na emotions. Oh, this is emotional. Let us not use those words, because for me that is a very, very layman argument, because everybody can use it. Wewe unaage na emotions, pia wewe unaage na emotions. As in, how is that a logical argument, saying people are arguing with emotions? Just attack that person's point. Go for the point, say, I don't agree with you on this because of this and that. Not, wewe unakuwa emotional. It makes no sense, because all of us can use that term. Okay, I yield the mic.
Asante sana, wacha tucheze jingle. Tumesahau hata wa.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Welcome to Home Run with Pippy.
Welcome to Home Run with People, ladies and gentlemen. It's 23 minutes to the top of the hour. I thought today I was going to run away and watch PSG play Real Madrid, but it looks like I'll be streaming it on the laptop as we continue the spaces. But if we were to be disciplined, the way we are telling William Ruto to be disciplined, tungekuwa tumeshamaliza show saa 3. Unaona? But sasa saizi ndo wisdom inatokea. Mwabili anakuwa emotional. Sijui Paul, sijui nini. Unajua nini guys? Tuheshimiane. Nimekaa chini kutoka saa 10. Hata Tina Ogal alifungua ile yake, wameenda nyumbani. Saizi nimeingia shift ya Maina, huyu anaitwa Kamau Munywa, ile yake ya usiku, ile ya wazee wake wa River Road. Ndo niko hapo sasa saizi na sina mshahara sasa. Ni bwana
Pipi, wacha kuwa emotional bana.
ni ile na celebrate kesho, ni siku kubwa, acha nijionge. Unajua ati sina mshahara. Unajua hiyo kitu ni fani sana. Sasa hata Mwambili siku nyingine alikaa chini akasema ati tunakaanga watu watatu tunaongea kama wenda wazimu. And it really made sense because clearly we are meeting 3 people on spaces and talking, and in the hope that one day I will be paid enough to not want employment. Sasa ni miaka 2 ndio hii bado tunachanga hapa. Yaani wacha nitafute tu wimbo moja nicheze verse moja roho itulie guys. Mtabidi tu mnielewe, ni show yangu. Yeah. Alafu leo president amesema ukipigwa risasi ya mguu hiyo si shida. Wewe ulikuwa wapi hapo? Usiue, piga tu mguu. So very caring president, haki ya nani? Nyinyi sijui kwa nini wanga mnasumbukanga sana hapa hivi. Na tuko na mtu anaweza sema polisi msiwapige risasi, wapige tu mguu peke. Acha nikuweke hii kwanza, acha niweke tu hii part. Wakati ngoma inaendelea kuimba, ningependa muingie pale kwenye tip ja line yangu, at least tufike hata 8000. Ni 200 imebaki tufike 8000. Welcome to Home Run with PP. So much for that. Nimefukuza hadi Mwabili. Haya, Japonji, what were we saying? Mungu atupe uvumilivu.
Pipi, first of all, congratulations. It's 2 years, man. Second anniversary, eh? You know, mambo yenye tumeona space. Where are people like